I'm live. We're live. Hey up. Welcome to that old Yorkshire Geek News again. I'm trying the new thing. This is StreamYards, as you may see from the little, where is it? The little duck up there in the corner. I'm just trying it out. It might not work. It might all be a total disaster. You might not even hear me. So I'm just going to plod along. If it all goes wrong, I'll have to do it again. So anyway, so it's first news tonight. Here we go, Ryan Reynolds. Oh, there. Where are we? Where's my window? It's there. Right. Ryan Reynolds compares the Adam Project to E.T. insists Deadpool is not in Doctor Strange 2. Despite rumours flying that Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool appears in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the actor says it's not happening. I'm really not in the movie, Reynolds told me on Tuesday night at the London West Hollywood before a special screening of his upcoming Netflix sci-fi action movie, The Adam Project. All right, I thought it was going to be another MCU film, that fella. Oh, that's Black Adam I'm thinking of, isn't it? Is it DC? Who's that gold chap? I've no idea. I'm hopeless. When I suggested he could be lying, Reynolds insisted, I'm promising I'm not in the movie. I don't believe him. Fans have been speculating after some notice what they believe is an image of Deadpool in a new poster for the upcoming Doctor Strange sequel. As for the third Deadpool, Reynolds would only say it's coming along. In the Adam Project, Reynolds stars as Adam, a fighter pilot in 2050, who befriends his 12-year-old self when he travels back in time to 2022. Newcomer Walker Scobell makes his big screen debut as the young Adam. I met him on Zoom, Walker recalled, of meeting Reynolds for the first time. It was definitely weird to see him actually interacting with me, but in person he's way taller than I thought he would be. Reynolds cracked, I'm wearing those 4-inch lifts. Good old Ryan. Walker happens to be a big Deadpool fan. Hang on. It's rated R. Don't matter in America, though, does it? It don't matter in America. You can go see a rated R film as long as you've got somebody over 17 with you, something like that. Crazy. To us civilized Europeans. Fan who can recite lines by heart from the anti-hero films. We read, 147,000 kids, it felt like. We read. 147,000 kids, it felt like. And then Walker read, and it was just instant, Reynolds said. I think it was because he'd watched Deadpool 1 and 2 thousands of times. He knew them backwards and forwards, so logically, we worked so well because he could be a mini-me. Mini-me, and there he is. There's the kid and the big kid. Who don't like Ryan Reynolds? I'm sure there's somebody. The Adam Project marks a reunion for Reynolds and his Free Guy director Sean Levy. Rounding out the cast are Mark Ruffalo and Jennifer Garner as Adam's parents, as well as Zoe Saldana and Catherine Keener. It felt like one of those big wish fulfillment movies with huge stakes and high concept, but it was really about something very personal as well, which is sort of what I loved about movies in the 80s. What I loved about E.T. and Back to the Future and anything that Steven Spielberg's Amblin did. Goonies, Reynolds said, it just felt like it sort of harkened back to that kind of filmmaking. And in the period we're living right now, it felt timely. He added, I always think of it like the Mary Pickford model, which is make them laugh, make them cry, and then bring them back to laughter. If you can do that, you've made something worth watching. He and Levy were interested in finding another original story, like Free Guy. That was a totally original idea that worked theatrically, Reynolds said. For us, that felt incredible, and we love IP, intellectual property, and we love superhero movies. We love all that stuff, but this was a special experience, and we really wanted to keep that train marching along. Trains don't really march, do they? While Reynolds is known for doing a lot of his own stunt work, the 45-year-old actor said things began to be a bit more painful about a decade ago. Tell me about it. You're not allowed to eat Advil-like cereal, he said. Things start to hurt. After I turned 35, being thrown onto cement wasn't hilarious anymore. It had been upgraded to hell. I really like physicality in movies, while I adjust myself, he continued. I think it's important to do as much of it as yourself as you can. I'll step aside when there's something that's just too gnarly and there's a trained professional ready to go. The Adam Project, I'm going, I'm burping, no pop again, I haven't even got any water. So it'll go all dry and croaky. Tough. The Adam Project includes a running gag about Star Wars, a franchise that Reynolds said he would certainly be open to joining. That would be a real hard thing to say no to, but honestly, I'm not making this up. It's not something I've ever thought of, he said. And speaking of going back in time, I asked Reynolds what he would say to his 12-year-old self if he had the chance. I think I lived in my head so much, he said, adding, I probably would tell him just to lighten up, enjoy it. The Adam Project premieres on Netflix on March 11th, and that's that for that one. So there we go. So all that, for a yes, he would do it if asked, Star Wars, but he hasn't been asked. It looks like. Right, where's the other one? Come here, Hugh. Are we still going? Are we still online? We're still going. We're still live. It hasn't broken yet. I just hope you can hear me, because there's no way that I can't see a little thing that says my microphone's on. But it was working before, so hopefully we're still all tickety-boo. And there's nobody in the chat yet, because there's probably nobody watching. I hope it's going through YouTube, this. Anyway, we'll carry on. Got another story. By the way, you might have noticed I'm wearing something slightly different tonight. I've got my Stargate top on, which is my, can you see, SG3. Because there's a Stargate related story later, and I thought I'd have a change. So there we go, and a bit of AC/DC underneath. There we go. Because, I'm a bit of a metalhead, as they say. Right, next story. Next story is, let's just make sure it's all still going on. Keep having to press buttons. Yeah, that's there. Did you see that? So as you can see, John Carpenter offers update on Tales for a Halloween Night TV series. Thanks in large part to co-creating the iconic 1978 slasher Halloween, filmmaker John Carpenter has been intrinsically linked with the holiday for decades. Adding even more connections between him and All Hallows Eve is that he developed the comic book series Tales for a Halloween Night, which aims to honour the spookiness of the season. Reports have emerged for years about his attempts to bring the concept to life for a TV series, with Carpenter recently confirming that the project is currently in a promising place. But the coronavirus pandemic has prevented any substantial progress from happening on the series. There's progress that's always being held up by COVID. We're trying to get it finalised, Carpenter confirmed with comicbook.com when asked about the status of the series. By the way, as usual, all the links and stuff will be in the description box, wherever that is happening. I don't know, but it'll be up when it's on YouTube, I suppose. It will be in the description box below. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and do the other stuff. Hit the notification tab, and what else? And leave a comment and be nice. Join the chat. Not that I can see it because I've only got one monitor. But we'll get round to it. Where am I? It has a home. I won't tell you about it now. Where are we? I've lost it now. I won't tell you about it right now. I'll tell you about it when it finally comes to fruition. While initial reports claim that the series will be heading to sci-fi, that approach to the material fell apart and supposedly being revived through Paramount, at least temporarily. Well, they're in a bit of flux, aren't they, Paramount? But, oh, no, they're not really, though. They're kind of forging ahead, aren't they, with this new Paramount name, so you never know. We had one project where Sci-Fi wanted Tales for a Halloween Night, but it quickly became evident they just wanted the title, and I really saw a disaster on the horizon. Carpenter's producing partner, Sandy King Carpenter, I wonder if she's related, revealed to comicbook.com back in 2019. So I went, no, this is not a good idea. It was a greenlit series, but if it's not going to be something cool for the fans and for the eventual audience, then I don't think it's a good idea to do it. Despite those initial setbacks, the delays in the development of the process will seemingly only make the final product all that stronger. I think we have a pretty good idea what our fans want to see, and we definitely have a pretty good idea what should come out from. King explained. Sorry, I lost my train of thought then in mid-sentence. If somebody's a fan of that anthology, there should be a character to any show that comes out of it. It shouldn't be just barfing up the books. It should be something that grows out of it or has a flavour of it in some way, or in some way meets the expectations. Or why are we giving it that title? Sorry if I seem distracted, but I can hear noises from upstairs. I've got a son upstairs who's walking about, and I keep expecting him to come thundering down. It could happen. We'll have to wait and see. Where were I? It should be something that grows out of it or has a flavour of it or in some way meets the expectations or why we are giving it that title. Call it Bozo Goes to Mars or something else. As fans wait for updates on this project, they can revisit Carpenter's Escape from LA, which lands on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray on February 22nd. Give it a miss. Released in 1996. Why they plug in that? Well, I don't know, but well, whatever. John Carpenter's Escape from LA was the highly anticipated follow-up to the fan favourite hit Escape from New York. Kurt Russell returns as anti-hero Snake Plissken, who is called upon to save the world from a doomsday device after a 9.6 quake levels most of Los Angeles. Stay tuned for details on the Tales for a Halloween Night TV series Escape from LA hits 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray on February 22nd. There we go. That's it for that, isn't it? So there we go. So we'll see what happens with that. But, it might be good. But to be honest, I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of Tales for a Halloween Night until I saw this. But apparently it's been in the works for a while. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where it ends up. Is it going to be on Sci-Fi or is it going to be on Paramount? We shall see. We shall see. Are we still going? We're still going. We're still going, I think. Well, I hope we are. It says we are. So anyway. So next up, what's next? Oh, this is a BBC one. Star Wars Millennium Falcon exhibit draws family before it opens. A family of excited Star Wars fans have turned up at a new exhibition on the construction of the Millennium Falcon months before it opens. A life-size prop of the spaceship was built in Pembrokeshire in 1979 for The Empire Strikes Back, which was filmed in Elstree. And news of a permanent exhibition there due to open in April pushed some fans to make the jump to hyperspace prematurely. Mark Williams, who works for the Pembroke Dock Heritage Trust, said one family had jumped the gun a little bit amid a flurry of calls, emails and social media posts from fans. And there's a video. Well, shall we give it a go? No, it's BBC. It might not play. And you might not be able to hear it, but we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to play, is it? No, it's not happening, is it? Oh, hang on, it is. It is. It isn't, is it? I don't know. But I can't hear it. So never mind. Anyway, it's basically just, we'll go through some pictures. It's just people looking at the, are you seeing that? Yeah. At the ship that was, come here, tell you, disaster. That's Galaxy's Edge, isn't it? What else we got? This is, they're building it in back in the day. And that's some chap. And then it is being built again. I'm presuming these are the old pictures from, 1979. So, anyway, there's going to be an exhibit opening. There you go, back in 1979. There's going to be an exhibit opening in April. And we'll see what it's like. We'll see what it's... Sorry I couldn't play that video. It wasn't happening. Right, so next up. Make sure we're still going. Yeah, and the picture's still there. Tickety-boo. Right, Francis Ford Coppola, or is it Coppola? Take your pick. Says modern blockbusters are all the same prototype movie. The director argues that even good films like Dune and No Time to Die feel similar. And there he is. I know he's getting on a bit, but he's get away with that. But he's a shadow of you're a bit of a bear of a man, wasn't he, in his youth? Anyway, Francis Ford Coppola. How do you pronounce it? Is it Coppola or Coppola? I'm going to say Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola has shared his thoughts on modern blockbuster films, saying they're all based on the same prototype. The director, known for films like The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, criticised the similarities among big studio films in an interview with GQ. There used to be studio films, Coppola said. Now there are Marvel pictures. Marvel's a studio, isn't it? That sort of. That's part of Disney. And what is a Marvel picture? A Marvel picture is one prototype movie that is made over and over and over again to look different. He's got a point, really, because a Marvel film, the MCU, them films, they're really written and planned out before a director's assigned, are they? And more often than not, the director just does the talky bits, and everything else, all the action, is all prearranged and done, second unit and all that, with an experienced crew that's used to doing those things. Which is why they're all pretty good action scenes, because they've got a crew that's has done a lot of it. Oh, I'm burping. But I digress. It's my favourite word. Right, where were we? Coppola believes that even good studio films like Dune and No Time to Die share formulaic similarities. And there's a picture from Dune with Timothée Chalamet and Rebecca Ferguson as his mother. She don't look old enough to me, but anyway. He added, even the talented people, you could take Dune, made by Denis Villeneuve, an extremely talented, gifted artist, and you could take No Time to Die, directed by Cary Fukunaga. Why do they pause there? Or have they chopped something out? I think they've edited that. I wonder what he said in between there. Extremely gifted, talented, beautiful artists, and you could take both those movies, and you and I could go and pull the same sequence out of both of them and put them together. The same sequence where the cars all crash into each other. Which is basically what I've said, in it. What I just said. The directors, do the talky bits, and other, experienced second unit action crews do all the crashy stuff, shooty stunts and all that, don't they? They all have that stuff in it, and they almost have to have it if they're going to justify their budget, and that's the good films and the talented filmmakers. Coppola previously supported Martin Scorsese's criticism of Marvel movies in 2019, where he similarly compared it to seeing the same movie over and over again. At the time, the director said, when Martin Scorsese says that the Marvel pictures are not cinema, he's right, because we expect to learn something from cinema. We expect to gain something, some enlightenment, some knowledge, some inspiration. He added, I don't know that anyone gets anything out of seeing the same movie over and over again. Martin was kind when he said it's not cinema. He didn't say it's despicable, which I just say it is. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, speaking of them films, is the next film in the Marvel pipeline, set to be released in cinemas on May the 6th. But I kind of agree, in that way, that it's the base. Can't talk. It's like a factory conveyor belt of movies, isn't it? And so it's got a point that way. But there are still a lot of good, thoughtful films coming out. But these blockbusters, like the Marvel films and the big, like the Godzilla films, King Kong and all that, they're the ones that make the studios money, aren't they? So they've got to make them, even though they cost a lot to make. Usually they make the money back in spades, don't they? But the smaller, more thoughtful films, the ones that are more auteur-based, usually written and directed by so and so, they're still out there and they've got their place. But it's the blockbusters that make the studios money, so they won't stop doing it. Will they? No, they won't. Right, next up, I think this is the last one, and it's the reason I've got my Stargate top on. It's going to be a quick show tonight, just testing this live thing from StreamYards. Right, Stargate was just referenced in a new sci-fi series in the funniest way. See the pics. And there's the Stargate symbol from the movie that started it all off. When workplace comedy series Space Force debuted on Netflix in 2020, it wasn't without a few hiccups. I've never seen it, to be honest. I've not seen it. The show's storylines and jokes were a strong hit or miss, as it parodied mostly conservative ideologies, and the first few episodes fell flat. The subplot shifted away from the characters, focusing instead on the antics at bay. This was an ambitious decision, given everyone's unfamiliarity with the Space Force military branch. But as fans were drawn in, they noticed a pretty cool nod to Stargate SG-1. In the fourth episode of the first season, titled Lunar Habitat, Mark Naird, Steve Carell, I hope I'm pronouncing stuff. Steve Carell, I apologise, In spades. That's going to be me words of the day. In spades. Decides to spend a week with a team of astronauts who've been living in a mock version of a moon habitat for almost 2 years. As expected, the decision doesn't go over well with the residents, most of whom find themselves frustrated by his presence disrupting their lives. As viewers watched Mark navigate his new surroundings with hilarious results, a few eagle-eyed fans noticed the bulky astronaut suit he wears in various scenes is a replica of the suits in Stargate SG-1. Probably not a replica, they're probably the same suits. To be honest, the surprising Easter egg was noticed by Reddit user u/CrimsonXSecret, who said that they thought the suit looked familiar and put a screenshot of Carell's character wearing it in Space Force above a picture of the same suit being worn in a 5th season episode of Stargate SG-1 called Failsafe. Interestingly, it was around this time that Space Force experienced a surge in ratings as fans became curious about the adventure of Mark's unruly crew. Check out the comparison of Space Force and Stargate SG-1 suits below. There we go, that's a Space Force one and that's SG-1. They're clearly the same, aren't they? They look the same to me. I can't see much different. There might be some cosmetic differences, so, that maybe, or maybe not actually. Nope, they look the same to me. They're probably the same. And I know Stargate got a lot of help from the Air Force, so maybe they, got these together. Or maybe they were just designed for SG-1, and rather than cough up money to design a new one, these were in storage and thought, use these instead. I don't know the production company behind Space Force, so they could be connected because I've not seen it. Since its debut in 1997, a lot of shows have drawn inspiration from Stargate SG-1. Created by Brad Wright and Jonathan Glassner, the military science fiction series was based on the 1994 film by Stargate by Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich. The story is set approximately a year after the events of the movie, when the United States government learns that an ancient alien device called the Stargate can access a network of such devices on a multitude of planets and in space. Well, not really in space. I mean, when they got to the Pegasus galaxy, they found space gates, didn't they? To keep Earth safe, the government puts together an elite United States Air Force Special Operations Team called SG-1 who explore the galaxy and defend it against alien threats like the Goa'uld, the Replicators, and the Ori. During its run, the Stargate series also drew upon Egyptian, Greek, and Norse mythology, as well as the legend of King Arthur for story ideas. Over the years, Stargate SG-1 was a rating success and was particularly popular in Europe and Australia. The series was honoured with several awards and nominations in its 10-season run. There have also been various spin-offs like the animated show Stargate Infinity and the live-action series Stargate Atlantis, Universe and Origins. 2 direct-to-DVD Stargate films, Stargate The Ark of Truth, which is excellent, and Stargate Continuum, which is really good, were released in 2008. Stargate SG-1 is also the only US television series to have the full support and endorsement of the United States Armed Forces, especially the United States Air Force, which is what I just said, and that's it. So there we go. So they're using, they do, don't they? I mean, you're always seeing uniforms and equipment and clobber from, films and series being reused because it's a way of saving money. And, geeks notice, and that's not a bad thing. Right. So, there we go. So, we'll get rid of that. Is this going to work? Hey! It worked. A big me. Hope I ain't got stains on my t-shirt. You might, because I had a pot noodle earlier. You know what they're like. Right. We'll leave it there. And so, hopefully it's worked. If it has, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as I said. And all that stuff. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. It might be another live one, I don't know, or I might go back to my pre-recorded shows. But we'll see what happens. It depends. Right. So anyway, I'm going to call it a draw there. And until tomorrow, I'll see thee.